Mike King Biz, the premier business media brand covering and connecting Central Virginia. It's home to Mike King Biz Radio, producer of On the Mic with Mike RVA, which airs on ESPN Richmond 106.1 FM, The Choice 105.3 FM, and worldwide on IBGR.network. Follow Mike King Biz for the best business-ish content in RVA.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On the Mic with Mike, the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King. I appreciate you being here with me. This is part of the Mike King Biz Media Network, which is ESPN Richmond 106.1 every day from 5 to 7 a.m. International Business Growth Radio Saturdays, 10 a.m. in the East, as well as CW Richmond TV Wednesday and Fridays, 5 a.m. This is the place where the game changers come to talk. We are showing RVA in a different way, showcasing how all the game changers come and make Richmond a better area to live, work, and play. It is my honor coming to you from the Richmond Public Library, the children's section, to be specific. I'd like to thank my man, Don Treese Brown, for bringing him into this. This is an event we brought in an acclaimed author, Miss Maya Smart is here. Welcome to the program, ma'am.
Thank you. Thanks for having me.
Alrighty, so it is your sort of a homecoming. I always say this is a business show, so tell folks who you are and what you do.
I am Maya Payne Smart, and I'm the author of a book called Reading for Our Lives, a literacy action plan from birth to 6. And it's really just my mission to get every kid ready for reading, especially Black kids, because there have been so many disparities in reading achievement.
One of the things that we had talked about, I had asked you, were you the kid who was the writer? You had said that was you. Talk a bit about why that's so important when you have younger kids getting started early to lay the seed for why we're in a place like the Richmond Public Library, why it's so important.
It's so important to start early because there's so much rapid brain growth and development that happens even before kids are 2 years old. So oftentimes parents, families don't start thinking about reading until kids are school-aged. And by then you've missed years of opportunities to build vocabulary and get kids interested in books.
All right, the birth of your book. How long ago did the idea that you wanted to write a book, how long ago did that happen?
I've always known that I wanted to write a book. I did not always know what the topic of that book would be. So this particular book really was born when my daughter was born. And I just got curious about what specifically drives reading success in our children. What can we as parents do to set them up for success? So that's when the question started brewing.
So as the mom, this was birthed out of having a daughter and learning the process. So when people come to you and they talk, what are some of the things as parents you give them, things that they should do to encourage reading in their kids?
You said the main word and thing I give them is to talk. I think oral language, building vocabulary, having back and forth exchanges with kids is critically important, and people don't understand the connection between talk and reading, but kids need to have such a large bank of words in order to make sense of what's on the page.
So, ma'am, I have some miles on me. I'm rather old. And I'm proud to say that. So what we used to do back in the day was goo goo gaga. We realized that didn't work. We needed to do more than that, to talk to kids, to help them with their language skills.
Yes, I absolutely advocate that parents speak to little ones, even babies that aren't even cooing and babbling yet, with real words, because at some point they'll understand, and they gain that understanding through experience. So I tell parents, I give them the acronym TALK, and the T is for take turns, A is for ask questions, L is label and point, and K is keep the conversation going. So even with the itty bitties, talk about the black tablecloth or the round light, or give language and words to everything.
That's different, because before we didn't talk to our kids that way. We just told them or whatever, but this is engaging them, and that's a TALK acronym. That's nice. I like that. So the birth of the book, how long did it take you to write the book?
Ooh, it took me years to write the book, but it went through many different kind of forms, but I'd say a solid 2 years of working on the book in this format. I got serious about it during COVID.
And the name of the book, once again, is?
Reading for Our Lives.
Okay. Reading for Our Lives. When did you know the book was done?
When my editor at the publishing house pried it out of my hands and told me I couldn't make any more changes.
You felt like you always needed to make changes?
Yeah, that's just my personality. So I'd still be working on the book. I'd still find something I wanted to tweak or add or change.
Were you always a creative?
I think so. I was always interested in, and not always necessarily fiction or poems, but I was always interested in ideas and plans and proposals. So even this book, the subtitle is A Literacy Action Plan from Birth to Six, because I have that optimism that people can take this book, read it, really internalize it, do the things, and then inspire other people to do it and really take it to a new level. So that's my version of creativity.
How can people find the book out there?
They can find it on Amazon and Barnes & Noble, all the major retailer websites. And then also my website, mayasmart.com. So that's MAYASMART.com.
What is the next thing on the horizon for you?
I'm going to continue spreading these ideas. So I do workshops for parents. Some parents will read 240 pages, get it, take it, run with it. Other parents will listen to the audiobook. Some will watch little snippets on social media. But I think that having the back and forth real-time engagement with families is really important. And then also training educators and librarians to have those same kind of conversations. What
is Mike King here, ESPN Richmond? That's where we are. We're at the Richmond Public Library. You are in town for this. This is a promo for your book. Can you talk about the library, like the magic of the library and books? I mean, because the library is a cool place to be, and we want to get kids in there. It's not the old school library where it used to be.
And I love the old school library.
I know,
so.
But there's a lot more things going on, and because we want parents to come in here. So talk about the magic of the library and books.
So the real magic of libraries, public libraries everywhere, is that there are these huge spaces filled with volumes of books and helpful, wonderful, nice librarians, and they're free and available to everyone. So when we talk about equity and social change and all these things that are so important to us, libraries are central to that because they welcome everyone in and help you get to your next best level or help connect you to things you're interested in. So I was upstairs, or maybe it was downstairs earlier, and there's a maker space. So they didn't have that in my neighborhood library as a kid. We were reading in libraries. Now you can read, you can make things, you can do all kinds of things with technology here as well.
And we're promoting the creativity in our kids, and that's something we need to do early on right there. So for a kid who's out there and a person who wants to make a dream happen, let's talk about how do you make dreams happen?
I think first of all, you have to dream. So you have to have imagination and cultivate your ideas and listen to and take seriously your own ideas and thoughts. And write things down so you don't forget. And then I always encourage people to write things down, not only because I'm a writer, but it makes it solid in some ways that it's not when it's just in your mind. And then share it with other people who can help you and support you on your journey to making things happen.
So you were always a journaler, a writer?
Always at least taking notes and little snippets of things, not in an organized, I can't go back and have like years worth of diaries or anything like that, but definitely constantly writing and note taking.
Do you read the things after you've written them?
So part of why I don't have a long collection of journals is when I go back and read things, sometimes I'll tear the pages out and throw them away.
I asked people that. So when my mom passed away, I wrote, I'm not a writer, but I wrote all this stuff down. And I don't know, I'm not gonna say it's therapeutic, but when I wrote it and I put it away. Maybe 10 years later, I go back and read some of that. I'm like, ooh, Lord. Some of this was kind of like some stuff. And I closed it up and never went back. It never went back again. But I have people who say that they go back and read the things. Or some people say, yeah, it's therapeutic.
My husband is a serious journaler, so he has volumes that can go back to the 90s. So he can see what he was thinking this time last year.
From a business standpoint, that's good because it allows you to go back and see what happened on this day in history. Okay, so now we're talking about the creative side of writing a book and the book tour. Let's talk about the business side of it. When you were starting to put this together, you went and got an agent. Is that the process for a person who wants to write a book?
If you want to be traditionally published. So this book is published by Avery, which is an imprint of Penguin Random House, which is just a huge, giant book publisher. And that can help with your reach and distribution and publicity and media support. So for me, the first step was writing a proposal, getting that proposal in front of agents. An agent took me on as a client, and then she sold the book to a publisher.
Gotcha. All righty. Once again, we are at the Richmond Public Library. This is a big event. You were here talking about your book, and the name of the book, once again, is?
Reading for Our Lives, a literacy action plan from birth to 6.
On the mic with Mike. So we'd like to think there are a lot of great things happening. If you're in the Richmond area, make sure you come to the Richmond Public Libraries. It is the place to come to. You have celebrated authors who are here. As I always say, please make sure you follow our sponsors, advertisers, because they help us stay on the air. We do not work for the radio stations. We are the best business-ish radio program. We're not really business. It's business-ish. It's about the things that hold life together and the community together, which is what you're doing. So congratulations to you, ma'am. And we have to go. As I say, the microphone ain't free. Plus, my grandkids need stuff. So we'll talk to you soon. Thanks. Now, take care. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to On with Mike, the premier business radio program. I'm your host, Mike King. We are still at the Richmond Public Library, the main library. We have the man in the building, so we're here with this. So we had just interviewed Miss Maya Smart, who is here. They have an excellent program that they're going on in the background. It sounds like a kid's play that's happening back there, so you hear the rattles and stuff. Sir, welcome to the program. Please tell everyone who you are and what you do.
I'm Scott Firestein. I'm director of Richmond Public Library. So I get to be I get to lead this effort for library services for the city of Richmond.
So libraries have changed.
Yes.
Libraries, and COVID was something really that took us in a direction that none of it had ever done. Let's talk about your journey to get to library sciences. You were always a kid with the book? You always loved books?
I was always a library user. I've been a librarian for over 30 years. I started off, my first job was in a high school library.
And you never left?
And I pretty much never left, that's right.
What is the magic about, so when you walk into it doesn't matter where, you walk into a library before, I guess some years ago, like the internet's going to take over, digital is going to take over, we aren't going to need any books anymore. Books are still here,
Yep.
and people still use books. Let's talk about the magic of the library.
Well, the magic of the library is that our job is to provide information for those across the spectrum of the people that we serve in the city of Richmond. So it doesn't matter where you're from or what you have. If you have an information need, we're the place to come and visit, and we will help you find an answer to a question you may have. It can be something as simple as, what should I make for dinner tonight? Or how can I get some leads for my business to market whatever? It could be something as simple as a science fair project. It could be you just need a book to read. So we have that information, and we provide it for all who live in the city of Richmond. So that hasn't changed much.
How many branches do you have?
In the city of Richmond, we have a main library and 8 branches.
Okay. So you were coming through COVID. Before COVID, everything was going on. You understood the business of library, the library business side. COVID happens. It turned the world upside down. The library became a place then. Talk about what place the library played during COVID.
So in the early days of COVID, I think fear struck all of us. And so we had to figure out how to provide library service in a non-traditional way. So at Richmond Public Library, we shifted to curbside. We promoted many of the resources that we have through our library website at rvalibrary.org. That is, in a sense, I've said we have 9 physical branches. Our 10th branch is that library website. And it is a place where you can get an electronic library card right online. You can check out electronic books, magazines. You can even download video and music. So we are now in your pocket with your smartphone or your device, and we're also in your neighborhood. So the library has had to evolve into a place, more than a place, but a service that is everywhere for those who are seeking information.
As we had talked off camera, I talked to a man, Dr. Mabe was in from Chesterfield County. We talked about the power of the library card. Still powerful.
Yes, sir.
It is still powerful. So really, let's talk a little bit about the culture of an organization. I always talk to leaders about how do you set the winning culture in a place where you have people in multiple locations all working towards a common good.
One of the ways is communication. Bottom line is communication. You've got to be able to have a mission and a message and a vision statement and a strategic plan that is evolved from our users letting us know what they need, and also as the leader communicating it out so that we are achieving it day in and day out. So everyone needs to be informed on how we're going to proceed. I also, as a leader, need to listen to what I'm hearing from my frontline people. If they're telling me that something isn't working, I need to listen and make that change. Call that audible, as a quarterback does.
That's what good leaders do. I'll call it audible when things aren't working. You shift over really quickly. I know we're just about out of time here. How can people find information about the library?
The first thing to do is go to rvalibrary.org. You can Google it, or you can just do a quick search for RVA Library. That will be your gateway electronically, and we're everywhere through that URL.
As you know, this is a business show. We are just about out of time, but I got to ask you this question right here. Most businesses have a target market. Your demo is way different.
Yep.
So we're in here right now with 2-year-old and 1-year-olds on up to however old you could be coming in the library. And you guys have to have something for everybody.
That's right.
How do you make that work? You start.
It is a challenge. Basically, birth to 100 plus is our audience. And so being able to adapt and evolve to the needs of every audience. So I have to be the library that my grandma was used to, but I also have to be the library that our millennials and Gen Zs want to see, the ones who may never come in our door, but will access us through that website. They'll get those electronic resources. They'll get those downloadables. They'll get those electronic magazines. Or they'll do a search on the databases that we have. So we have to be everywhere, and we try and be everything to as many people as we can. Now, it's a challenge.
I bet it is.
It's a challenge.
Because a lot of times people have to define demo. You're talking.
Everyone.
There you go. Birth to 99 or
Yeah.
more.
Yep.
There we go. We are at the Richmond Public Library. We'd like to thank you for joining the program. Just Google them. It's the Richmond Public Library. They have some really great things happening. Today we are here once again for the Maya Smart book signing, and there are children's events going on right now, but there is something here for everyone. On the mic with Mike. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks now. Take care.